Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully complete our edit and the update part, right? So now there is another one as a details. So here, as I told you before, the details means it will be, I have already get all that are group by data. So now it will be display all that are group by data into the view details page. So if you want to do that work, first of all, we have to create one of the route for this one. So that is in our view page. Now go to our view. That is our edit. We don't need this. We also here we don't need this. That is our assign. That is our free. Okay, so now I want to open our view page. That means assign, and that is a view page. Into the view page area, I have added this button as a details, right? So it will be just like that same. I copy it. Also here we have to view it by the all that group by data. That means all that are class group by data, right? So I name it as a assign subject and the detail. Okay, details. So this type of one of the route I want to create, so that will be as details. Okay, so now I copy it. That will be in our web. Into the web, you can see I have already updated this update part, edit part. Now there is a details part. So now that will be our route as a assign subject and the details. So that will be as a assign and then subject details with our ID. So right now our ID is as a class ID, so I copy it. That will be as a class ID, right? And then in our assign subject controller, I want to create one of the method as a details assign subject. So this type of one of the method I want to create, right? So that will be just like our free account. I have already created that details. You can see I have already created that structure, but I copy it. And now in our assign subject controller, here I paste it. So that will be our method. Our method, I have changed it as a details assign subject. So that will be as a details assign subject, and also our ID is changed. Our ID now as a class ID, right? So that will be as a class ID. Perfect. So that is our data. I take one of the variable as the same variable name as a details data, and then our model. So right now I am using as a assigned subject model. So now with this assigned subject model, where our same condition, where our class ID will be matched with our requested class ID, then it will be get order by all that our data. This will be get all the data with the subject ID, subject underscore ID, right? That means if you go to our table, into the table it will be get all that our subject wise data. Okay, so that is our subject wise all the ascending data it will be get, and it will be take that things with this variable. And now in our, I have already created on the folder name as a assigned subject, so that will be as a assign underscore subject. So into this folder I want to create on the page as a details assigned subject. So now I copy it, and now I have also passed that data. So now I want to create this page in our assigned subject. So into the assigned subject I create on the new file, click as a save as, and then details assigned subject dot blade dot php. Perfect. Okay, so now that will be same free from our free account. I have already created on the page as a view, or sorry, the details free amount. I copy everything. Okay, I copy everything, and now in our assigned subject details page I paste it. Okay, so that will be not that free amount, it will be as a assigned subject details. Okay, and you can also add that one of the button for this one as a add assigned subject. Okay, I name it as a add assigned subject, and for the add assigned subject I have already created on the route. If you go there, our add, you can see there is a assigned subject add, right? So if you want to change it, you can add it on here. So into the details, that will be our this route. That will be this route. Perfect. I hope it's very much clear to you. And then that is our free category. Here it's not be free category, it will be displayed as a free all that our subject actually. Okay, I name it as a assign. Sorry. Assign subject. That will be the assigned subject, and then here we also have to create one of the relation. I will do the things later. First of all, that is actually on all that name, right? So our name will be as a serial number. Here I want to display that subject. I want to display that subject, and then I want to display all that our rest of this field. That means the subject, full mark, pass mark, and the subjective mark. So better I want to do, I want to make it as a subject and then full name, that means the full mark, right? And then that will be another one, as a pass mark, and that will be as a subjective mark, subjective mark, right? And also make it every as a 20. Okay, that will be better. I want to make it as a 20%. That will be as a 20%, and also here I add it as a 20%. Okay, and that will be as a 5%. Perfect. So now I want to do and visible all the data. So I get all the data as a details, maybe same. You can see that is a details data. That means our details data, and here with this details data I name it as a details. So now with these details I want to visible name. Okay, so here I want to do and to visible our subject name. So if you go to our relation, if you go to here, I have already created that relation with our class, right? So now I want to do and to take another one. I want to create another relation with our subject. So that will be as a student, not the student. I name it as a school subject underscore subject. So that will be the school subject, and with this school subject means we have to create that relation from our this table to our school subject. You can see this table and this ID, right? So it will be matched with our this subject ID will be matched with our particular this table, this ID. So perfect. So that's all we have to do. So that is our model. So I have already created this model. If you go for the school subject, you can see that is our school subject, our model. So now with this school subject model, I want to use it as a, that is our field name, or this table, that means assign subject field name as a select subject ID. This subject ID will be matched with our this school subject and this ID, right? So then I will actually get this name. So that will be actually our subject ID, subject underscore ID, right? So this subject ID will be matched with our ID, then it will be get this data. So now with this school subject I want to do and to display that name. So in our details page, into the details page here, so that will be as a school subject. So with this school subject I want to visible that name. Perfect. And then the details I want to display our rest of this field as a full mark. Full mark means our field name, here as a full mark, but I go to the structure, and that will be as a full mark. I copy it, that will be as a display as a full mark, and also there is a rest of this I want to attack. That will be another one as a pass mark, that will be as a pass mark, and that will be as a subjective mark, right? That will be as a subjective mark. Perfect. I hope everything is very much clear to you. Perfect. Now if you click as a save all, now I want to do and to check it. Now go there, refresh it. So that is our class name. Class name is a class 1. If you now click as a detail, it's not showing as a trying to access array offset of value or type as a null in your detail subject blade. What exactly I did wrong? There is our details data, there is our assigned subject details. You can see actually it's getting this error on here. So that means this is the position. Okay, so here I want to do and to actually visible our this part. That means I have already created another relationship for our class. That class name will be visible. So I copy that class name. Okay, that means the student class, and here with this details data in first index it will be display our this student class name. Okay, so that will be display this one. Now click as a save all. So now refresh it. Yeah, you can see it's now loaded. Perfect. You can see every data is now visible. That is our subject, all the data visible for our class 1, and this part is also dynamic, right friends? So for the reasons here you can see I have already created that relation. So now with this student class I display our name. So for the reasons you can see it's now display as a class 1 and all that our data, right? That is our subject and all the data. That is our full mark, pass mark, and the subject mark. And if you now go to the back, so that is our class 1 data. So now to display our class 2 data, go to the view details. Yeah, you can see it's now showing as a class 2 data, and that is our class 2 all the data. And if you now go to the class 3, so that is actually class 3 data, click as a detail. Yeah, Perfect. Class 3 data, all that class 3 data is visible. I hope, friend, you enjoy it very much. How much easily you can see we did one of the most complicated part, but we did it very easily. So for the reasons, actually, you can see, friend, everything is interconnected. For the reason, there is actually code application, a very easy process, but everything is actually interconnected. You can see here we need that our student class, and also it's now needed our student, the school subject, right? So now we can, everything is interconnected. For the reasons, actually, I have created every part. So next video, for our setup management, if you go there for the setup management, they have the another or rest or last our part will be as a designation, and designation will be just like one of the code application. It will be just like our student class, year class, group, shift. Okay, it will be just like that. So I will also share this part with you, but I think at that point you already know how can create this type of one of the code application very easily. So next video I will complete this designation, and then our setup management will be totally complete. Okay, and after that we'll go move on to our student management. Perfect. So now how can create this code application for the designation? In our next video I will show you that things with the live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.